Welcome back to another episode of Paper Talk. Today I have Sara and Jessie, and Jessie was just asking us about this particular question on our large paper flowers, because I still do a lot of large paper flowers, not as much as I used to do it in the past, but I know Sara does quite a bit. And if you see a lot of her Instagram stories and her posts, she does do a lot of large displays of paper flowers, and it's so magical and so fun. And I love all the wide range that she does do. And I don't do as much anymore because it does take a lot of time. And we want to talk about the logistic, the pricing, the why. And if you want to add large paper flowers to your offerings for your audience, this is something you need to know about. So one of the precautions after our conversations, like, you need to really, really think about if you want to offer large flowers, because one, it is a simple entry point. 180 Italian crepe paper is probably the best crepe paper you can do. You can modify it and add other types of crepe paper, but pre-warn, you need to wire each of the crepe paper to make it extra large and to be able to support it. I'm going to give you something that's really interesting to me. So one of my client, she wanted to use the water-resistant crepe paper from Carnitectica Rossi, the 140 GSM. And in Seattle, we don't have a lot of humidity day, but for some reason in this week of weather that we had in the summertime, I made the paper flowers. I didn't wire them because I've never had this problem before, but in front of my eyes from day to day, I saw the large flowers start to wilt. And it was so interesting. It was not a large flower. For example, it's not a 36-inch one. It was a lot smaller. And so I didn't think I needed to wire it because there was some petals to support it. But the crazy thing, as I was watching it, I could see the paper flowers starting to wilt right in front of me. I was like, oh my gosh, I did not think. So I had to go in and rewired or add some supporting petals to actually lift the flower back up to where I wanted them originally. So pre-warn, if you are in an area like Houston, like all those places that has a lot of humidity, you will need to wire your petals so that they do not wilt like I experienced, which is so weird to say in Seattle. But I'm going to point the mic back over to Sara and so Sara, what offerings do you do when you do large crepe papers?
I don't actually offer it anymore because of this issue. So I only do it for content and do tutorials so that other people can make them, not me. Because actually, the biggest issue was weatherproofing. And
Yeah.
it wasn't just even the rain. I mean, rain, of course, you can't rain on my paper flowers. And a lot of these events, it was for outdoors. It was actually even just wind because it's top heavy. And even
Yes.
though it stands in my house and it looks perfectly fine, even when they pick it up, it looks fine. The day they take it to their event and it has a little bit of wind and it's top heavy, it will knock it over. And I don't, I'm not in charge of the liability once it's out of my hands, but it still looks bad on your flowers and you just don't want that for your clients. So that is something that you probably have to disclose. Like, I am not in charge of weatherproofing this giant flower. So those were, and I was running into those issues way too often every time. There was always something wrong with it in the sense that, like, it didn't hold up or it was wilting or it rained a little bit just that one day. It rained,
Yeah.
just my luck. So I felt like this isn't something that I want to professionally offer. So I only do it for special occasions if it was just like someone that I knew or like a really just a favor of some sort. And then now I just use it as content. But I do think for content, it is one of my most popular content out there. My most popular tutorial is for my giant flowers. People love looking at them and watching videos of them.
Mhm.
And a lot of my customers that purchase my downloadable template, it is so that they can make it for their birthdays or for their events at their home or even for weddings. And, they get lucky and they figure it out on a perfectly weatherproofed day. But I just can't. on a business standpoint, I can't guarantee that it's going to be not wilting, like Quinn
Yeah.
said. And I don't do crepe paper, I do cardstock paper. And I haven't had that issue where it wilts, but I do have to support it still in some parts. If it gets really heavy towards the bottom, I do support it with wire as well. So even whether or not you're doing it with crepe paper or cardstock, you will still need to figure out the structural aspect. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of my tutorials does cover that, especially if
Mm-hmm.
it's like a peony and there's going to be a lot of petals, then you will need to support that somewhere in between. I would say like a poppy with only a couple petals, probably you don't have to do wire for cardstock paper because it does pretty much hold up.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be probably my advice. I think poppies look great. You don't have to make peonies. I actually really like my ranunculus flower that's giant, and it does hold up really well just because it's so close to each other. It doesn't have to
It's
really
more
look
compact.
fluffy. Yeah, it's more
Hmm.
compact. So I do think it's a good giant flower to produce. I obviously love my hyacinth.
Mm-hmm.
That's like it stays perfectly normal too, like that. Like I don't think
Yeah.
you really have to worry about the structural aspect.
Yeah.
So there are certain flowers that I would recommend and certain flowers that I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I that would be like my experience behind giant flowers. But I know we were talking about even like weatherproofing with rain related stuff, and we follow a couple artists that do the foam material. So I know that you could do a waterproof in a sense, or you can seal your paper. But I just feel like that's a lot of work
Yeah.
for us. So
Well, I feel like if you they want you to seal it, then maybe they're using the wrong materials. Maybe they shouldn't be thinking about paper, right? They maybe
right,
should be thinking about, like you said,
like
foam
fabric or
or
foam.
fabric or
Hmm.
plastic or something, right? Other
Hmm.
than paper. It might not be the right medium to use outdoors like that.
Well, and it's funny because as a paper artist, I always say, you need to treat my paper flowers the way you would treat real flowers. Like real flowers are
Yeah.
not going to do with weather as
Yeah.
well, right? Like, and when people are like, they like to stick their hands and like pick at my paper flower, I'm like, do you do that to the real flowers? Unless you're like us researching. I'm like, treat it like real flowers. You're not going to sit
Yeah.
there and pick
Mhm.
at the real flowers unless you're trying to research, what flower you're trying to make. But like, yeah, sometimes they just think, oh, it's made out of paper, so it has to be like this durable thing. But it's as fragile as a real flower.
For sure.
Let's
Hmm.
put it that way. I mean, I do think it is structurally like pretty good. It's just, I just can't guarantee if it's windy or if it's raining
Yeah.
or,
Do
or
you
someone
tell
needs to
them
get out.
that? Like when somebody says, I want to order big flower for you, giant one. I want like 5 of them for my wedding. It's going to be outdoors. I mean, hopefully it won't rain.
Mhm.
But it's in Florida.
Yeah, no.
What do you like what would your response to them be? Like, do
I
you
think
set their
initially,
expectations?
right, initially, I think I did have to disclose a lot of that. I say it's not weatherproof. I'm not going to be the one who installs it. I wasn't trying to provide a service where I install it because I think that's like a
Hmm.
whole nother thing. You could
Yeah.
rent them out, and I know a lot of my students they rent them out as a part of their business, but
Yeah.
that's on them. That's not me, you know. So usually, I know I have shipped it out once, maybe a big purchase of a giant flower, standing giant flower, but that's like, oh, it was so much. I think
Yeah. Tell me about that logistically. Like, how do
yeah,
you even do that?
like, okay, I
Boxes.
obviously undercharged shipping by a lot.
Obviously,
And
yes.
I realized once I got to the post office, okay, lesson learned. I needed to like quadruple the amount of shipping
Yeah.
because it's not even about the weight, because actually our paper flowers aren't that heavy.
Yeah.
It really
It's
is
the
just the
volume.
box
The
itself.
size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once it
Hmm.
becomes balloon weight, it's
Yeah.
just it's just going to cost a lot more money. So
Yeah.
I realized I think I might have told my customer that maybe it was like $100, and I
Hmm.
want to say I paid like 400. So it
Yeah.
Yeah.
really
I can
was times
imagine. Yeah.
four. And I
Hmm.
didn't know that because I
Yeah.
was going by the cost of what I thought for like a regular flower that I might have been. giving out. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, like I charge, I think like $10 for shipping for like a single stem. So I was like, oh, just $100. That's a lot, right? 10 to 100.
Did
No,
not cover
No.
it.
did not cover it, did not cover the box itself because I had to
Yeah.
go get special boxes
Yeah.
and then spend like a whole day on shipping itself.
Yeah.
So these are a lot of things you want to consider. Now, I really don't think that you should ship them out. Don't make it a service that you're going to ship out, because I
Well,
just
because
think
you have
it's
to
too
ship out a
much.
stand and you have to
Hmm.
ship out the flower. Like I'm
The
always
stem
yes,
as
I'm in
well.
STEM. Like I'm always
Hmm.
paranoid about okay, so like no matter how big your flower is, the weight of your base has to be
Be
equivalent,
heavy.
if not
I
more.
did it in
If
two
not
boxes.
more. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So like you don't want it to get squished. It slides through the box and
Hmm.
squish your flower. You literally would have to separate it.
Hmm.
Otherwise, there's a possibility it could squish your
Right.
flower.
And I actually had customers where they would be like, oh, okay, then we're gonna bring a U-Haul and pick it up from you. Because I said I am not shipping it out.
Yeah.
So then they weren't that far. I think they were from Vegas or something. And then they were like, we're gonna bring up a truck and pick it up from you. And I was like, I still don't want to do this because it's too much pressure. And the amount of cost that I'm charging them, it is a
Yeah.
lot of money.
Yeah.
So I do think like, okay, I'm just going to be honest out front. My cost for a single stem starts at $50 for one flower,
Hmm.
just regular size. And then my giant flower starts at $500. So it really
Yeah.
is times, whatever.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and even then I was like, okay, I make you a couple flowers, then it's going to be in thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And then now it is the pressure of making sure that this flower is going to act the way it is at their
Hmm.
event. So
Yeah.
I think ultimately I just felt like this isn't the business that I wanted to go to. So
Hmm.
I actually just stopped and I sell the base because I got them custom made. I used to DIY it. So you guys could DIY everything for yourself. I don't know if I want to recommend selling it as a service, but if you feel like you got it down, then go for it. But this is like on you guys, not on us. We are warning you all the precautions that you need to take when you are trying to do this as a service. Now, we do have a lot of artists that do make a huge business out of just doing giant flower style, right? Like we've seen artists, like I
Hmm.
I follow one that I really like in Korea, and I've actually seen it at the mall, and it's like amazing, and it's going to stay up. And she does them outdoors, indoors, and all of that. So I know that you can do it. It's just we haven't done it in that scale of a
Yeah.
business. So I guess that these are the things that you would have to think about when you are trying to make it into a business.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of upfront, and also you have to think about storage. Do you have a facility that can store everything? Is your house, do you have an extra room to keep all of that in place where it could be dust free? It
Hmm.
could be light proof because, with
And
paper
heat proof.
and heat proof and cold proof.
Hmm.
And you have to think about the adhesive that you use.
Mhm.
Another thing that I want to state before we move on is also a lot of event companies, when they want it, especially in Las Vegas, it has to be fireproof. And make sure you also have insurance to
Mhm.
cover all the things that you're doing. I mean, even if you're a business, you need to have that business insurance.
Right.
And usually the policy is like $1 million in the United States. So that's something you have to consider also.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
there's a lot of logistics for it.
yeah, that's the thing with logistics. I mean, Sarah touched upon it is the making part and then the service part, right?
Yes.
So
Hmm.
there's the making part where you make the flower and you literally hand it off to the client. Whether it's they come pick it up, they ship it, whatever. And then there's the part where you offer the service of installing it.
Hmm.
And that could be from because you're renting it out or that's part of the service that you provide.
Hmm.
And I think that's like you said, I think that's very different because once you're on site and servicing, yeah, a lot of venues will require you to actually confirm that you have some sort of insurance, right?
Hmm.
Because if
Yep.
you physically install it,
Yes.
and then the flower falls on somebody or something, and something there's harm that's caused, then you could be sued for it, right?
Yeah.
In addition to the venue, and you want to make sure that you're covered for that. But it's like these things that you don't really think about
Mhm.
because you're like, I'm just sticking it into the
Hmm.
base. That's it. That's all. And then I'm done. I mean, my client's going to love it, et cetera, et cetera. But like, you never know what might
Yeah.
happen. Like a little child
Hmm.
might just push it over and then something happens. Um, so yeah, I think thinking about whether or not you want to incorporate even not just making it seems like the easy part
Yeah.
actually. Like
Yeah.
it's a sculpture actually, but actually doing the service and the logistics and arranging it with your
Hmm.
client, like when are you going to arrive, are you going to take it down, like all those things.
Hmm.
um
How
it's
are
a
they going to
lot.
store it afterwards?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Like that's a lot of things, and I don't know
Hmm.
about you, but my studio space to begin with isn't very big, so even making it is would be a challenge, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but
So
I do think that you should make one just for the sake of making one. And it is fun. I think it's a fun content. I think it is cool that you can have it on your portfolio in some way. But and then you can think about whether or not you want to offer it. Maybe you can just do giant flowers without the stand, because I know that that can still be well put together. Like it,
mhm.
and I know it's gone a long way since we've had backdrops where we just put the flower on the wall itself. But there are ways that you can make it still very creative and very on trend, without the stem itself. So you guys could, I would say you still should try to make one because it's
Yeah.
fun. I think different scale of flower making is so much fun. I love doing the mini ones. I love doing the giant ones. And there's just different aspects to each like challenge and everything for each size. I actually feel like the giant ones are way more forgiving than the one
Yes.
that's regular size just because it's giant and people are like, whoa, it's giant. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it looks like a
They
hot
just notice
mess.
the yeah, I know, they
Yeah.
notice the size
Yeah.
first, right? And it's
Yes.
like, wow, like, it's wonderful, it's so out of this world, and
Hmm.
yeah, 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 and they don't expect realism from something that big because
No.
they know it's not,
Right,
right?
right. And I actually I feel like a lot of my flowers have so much flaws when it is big. Because
Mhm.
I'm like by the last, hour of working on it, I'm like, whatever, just put it together. Whereas like a small flower, I concentrate a lot and like I go from like beginning to end and like
Mhm.
really put in all my effort into it because
Yeah,
I think it is in my head, I think that's the most realistic version that I want to
mhm.
put my effort into it. But when it
Yeah.
becomes giant, it really is just like, oh, it looks good enough. Yeah.
You know what? That is one thing. I mean, good point that you made is that I definitely think like large scale flower business can definitely be run through like a studio with a team of people. And I
Because
actually think it's the most appropriate
it's
form of
easily
business.
attainable. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, it's one, there's like the scale is big, so it makes sense to have more people, but also
Hmm.
because um it's a different type of art in the sense that it's
Hmm.
not supposed to be real.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be out of this world, supposed to be fantastical. So like you said, it's easier to train people to make it fantastical, as opposed to being like really micromanaging what the details look like.
Hmm.
You're just managing a team of people to make something that you dream up,
Hmm.
but it doesn't have to be quote unquote perfect in a
Hmm.
sense. But yeah, I mean, we have seen, but that's the thing, we have seen a lot of Asian accounts, or Asian, I guess,
Hmm. Because they can
businesses
be
that
more
do run
mass
that way.
produced. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
actually
Amazing.
did a workshop where I we all made giant flowers and we put it together, for a backdrop for like a gala. And it was like one of my favorite workshops because it was actually for like a charity event, and it was really huge, like in LA. So then like every student, it was their first time making it. I mean, if you're gonna just like judge it by the one flower, it's not good, right? None of their flowers were that
Yeah.
good. But when they put it together and they like put it on the wall, and I was thinking like, oh, this is going to not look that good in this nice grand ballroom that
Yeah.
they're having this charity event that's supposed to be like, exchanging millions of dollars in sponsoring and things like that.
Hmm.
It was so pretty, and I was like, I love that. It's so meaningful.
Yeah.
So after that, they were the first ones that wanted that giant flower workshop where they put it together at the end. I started actually running with it. And I was like, let's do this. So I started advertising it as like a bachelorette party, bridal shower, baby shower, and we make flowers with your guests. And then
Mhm.
you could contribute it to their wedding or their baby shower event or things like that. Like we've
Yeah.
done one where they made flowers and then we put it into their letter of like the baby. And that's such a
Aw.
cute idea. And I feel like
Such so
you
cute.
can definitely still run with this, you know,
Yes. Yes.
just trying different ways. I think you should do trial and error. I
Mhm.
feel like the amount of orders that I did in the past when it came with giant flowers, I've learned from each and every one of them. I'm like, okay, next time I can't do that. The next time I have to charge that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I definitely think it's like a learning process.
Mhm.
I think it's worth it though, because clearly there's a lot of
Yeah.
money in it though. And it's
Yes.
really
Mhm.
popular.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very popular.
Yeah.
Still popular. There's
It is.
something that's
Hmm.
different and more mobile. So a lot of people now, I feel like, are doing more outdoor weddings,
Mhm.
Hmm.
especially during the summertime. And it's a great way to move a beautiful backdrop
Yeah.
outwards and then use it for the wedding ceremony, use it for the cocktail hour, and
Oh,
use it inside for when you have the dinner time area.
hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I was just thinking, I know like you charge 500 for a flower. I for crepe paper, like in Canada, to buy one roll of the Cartotechnica Rossi, it's like 13 bucks.
Yeah.
And you're probably gonna need 10 rolls
Oh,
for
Hmm.
a peony.
oh, okay.
Can
Oh,
you
yeah,
so
yeah.
can you
Actually,
That's so
imagine,
much.
you
Yeah.
know, at the very least, right?
Uh-huh.
It depends
yeah.
on what size you make and
Hmm.
whatever. But think about that. Just the cost of like the paper alone
Hmm.
is expensive. And so I
Hmm.
can only imagine like with this, if you put a stand on it or
Hmm.
whatever, like 500 is a deal, man.
Yeah,
No one else
I
can make a
know.
flower like that,
Hmm.
right?
And every time I make it for whatever event, I'm like, the next time I'm gonna add another
Yes.
$100 because it
Yeah.
was so much
No
fun.
one else can make it like you
Yes.
Yeah.
do.
And
Like
my
it's a very
back
niche,
hurts when
very,
I'm
very
making
niche.
it. Yes.
Hmm. Also, another tip for you guys, if you're doing wallflowers or doing stands, think about the mechanics that you
Mhm.
need to attach it. What are they attaching it to?
Yeah.
Are they attaching it to a wooden structure? Is it going to a wall? How are you going to hang it? Have you hanged it for 24 hours to see if
Mhm.
the flower will stay upright
Mhm.
versus the gravity of the flower wanting to tilt forward? Have you thought about that? So there's a lot of logistic
Yeah.
behind creating it, not just making it look pretty, but also
Mhm.
can it upstand, 24 hours at the wedding site where a lot of people are looking at it, touching it,
Mhm.
and things like that.
And yeah,
Yeah, it's
when it
not just
comes to
enlarging a
wall,
it's not just
right.
enlarging a
Hmm.
small one into a big
When
Yeah.
one.
when it comes to
Yep.
the wall ones, that's another thing. It's just to
Yeah.
make sure that how are you going to put it up? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so a lot of times, I mean, I do add, like loops and things like that to make sure that they can hold it together. But that's why I say I do not want to be the one who's installing it because it's all on you once it's
Yeah.
out of my hands,
Oh
you
my
know?
God, it's like
Hmm.
Sarah, it's
Yeah.
like IKEA. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
IKEA furniture,
Yes.
they never give you the screws. They're like, that's on you.
Yeah.
But that is true. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a completely different set of liabilities to deal with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to live and learn kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I do feel like, I mean, at this point in my business, I do not offer it. I still get questions all the time. They're like, can we please order one, you know? And I'm like, there's just too many things that come in play.
Hmm.
And I mean, I do feel like you can DIY it. And so I always say, you can make it for yourself with my tutorial. But I just, I feel like I can't put that in my business. So I actually did get business insurance because of that too. So it does say that, because I think once I started getting contracts that were like a huge contract, I also felt a little bit like, oh, if I don't, deliver by this
Hmm.
time, this is thousands and thousands of dollars of contract. So I was kind of like, I don't know where that plays. I don't know, Jesse, you should be able to
No, for
chime in
sure.
here with this, but I was really scared. Like,
Hmm.
what if I got hurt or something and I couldn't
Yeah.
make the flowers by the time that our contract was, due and
Yeah.
things like
You
that.
never
Like,
know.
and I don't even know if business insurance covers that, but I was feeling like at least I needed something to cushion when
Yeah.
I am doing workshops with like hundreds of people or something. as well.
For
So
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually a good conversation you should have with your like insurance broker. Not all insurance companies offer business liability insurance, but there's different types, right? You've got insurance that covers you from being sued. So your insurance company will provide you with or pay for a lawyer to represent you in any kind of claims, and they may pay the damages if you're found liable. You know, responsible. Let's use the word responsible for the injury or harm or damage. Then your insurance can pay it out. That's actually why you get
yeah.
insurance when you drive, right? But there's also insurance for uh, not necessarily when not sorry. So sorry. That essentially is your legal liability, and then the insurance that pays out if you're found liable. Um, but also insurance for yourself too, right? Like personally as well. Like you said,
Hmm.
what if you were sick and you couldn't work? What if, that kind of stuff, or you were injured on the job? That insurance would cover you as well.
Hmm.
But there's two other types of insurance I can't think of on the top of my head in terms of coverage. But yeah, like you might want to talk to someone very specific that sells business insurance.
Hmm.
I've been I've been like nagging my husband to do that. Like,
Hmm.
you need to do that. Anytime you run your own business where there's a lot of money involved,
Hmm.
when things
It's
are going
scary.
well, it's
Yeah.
great. But when
Yeah.
things go, hit the fan,
Hmm.
that's when, you do want to make sure that you have um, an insurance company that can help you pay for your fees. And
Hmm.
yeah. But I mean, on a happier note, I like you said, Sarah, I think that large flowers are amazing. I mean, I think it changes your experience of
Hmm.
a place and of a location, right? I remember my first exhibit where I exhibited like my arrangements in a gallery in Toronto, and we had jurors come in, and these jurors were from many different backgrounds, but a lot of them were in the art industry. And one of the ladies was saying to me, it'd be really amazing, like she was giving tips and stuff and advice, it'd be really amazing if you did this like 10 times bigger. And
Hmm.
I was like, in my mind I was like, you know what, yeah, I feel like anytime you make something like 10 times bigger, like it's always going to be like otherworldly, it's
Yeah.
always going to be like amazing
Hmm.
because it's different. It's like it requires you to look at the world in a different way and look at, let's say, a flower in a different way, right? For the first time you see how many petals there actually are on a peony, or
Hmm.
oh, I can actually see the pollen in the
Hmm.
stamens. And like that's always going to be like wow, the
Hmm.
wow factor. So I don't think like big flowers are going away anytime
Hmm.
soon. It's just in a different reincarnation,
Yeah.
like you said, maybe not in stems, but in like on the walls or hanging
Hmm.
upside down like a chandelier, or
Yeah.
people get into it like in some way, shape, or form. I think that it's still super popular.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, on socials, it looks amazing, like out of this world.
Yeah. I mean,
Agreed.
I did go viral because of that. It was one of my first videos that went viral on Instagram. So I always feel like I have to have some type of giant flower content.
Yeah,
But, like I don't know if I want to be that niche where I'm making giant flowers,
yeah.
but it is still fun. I do think it's a fun project to work on. I think you can still make them for retail window display and things like
Hmm.
that. So there are definitely
A lot of
business
opportunities.
in it, yeah, without having to feel very scared about the whole
Yeah.
situation. I just think for an event, it is, you do have to go through the logistics of making sure that there's going to be people moving around, there's going to be people, underneath it and things like that. But for a window display at a retail space, I think that's
Hmm.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think you can definitely make it, and it won't fall apart because it is
Yeah.
just sitting there.
Yeah.
And usually, you don't like customers don't get that close to
It's
window
a lot more
display.
controlled space.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of them actually in the window displays, the
Hmm.
big flowers. It's
It's an
pretty,
eye catcher.
yeah, it is an
Yeah.
eye catcher. And because the window displays tend to be so high, right?
Hmm.
They're like perfect because they fill up the space so well. And small flowers get swallowed by
Hmm.
the big space, but the big flowers, they just seem to fit really well.
And you don't need that many. You only make
Yeah.
one, and
Yeah.
it could still make a statement.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've done one of my, I guess, most recent like actual order that I've made. It was probably the last one that I decided to do, but it was for a candle company, and it was like at their retail store. It was at a beautiful location in Newport Beach, so it was really fancy. So I was like, yeah, definitely. And I think it looked great. And I think it was still there months after because it
Yeah.
wasn't being touched in any way. It was like kind of tucked away in a corner, and
Yeah.
it showed through the windows and things like that. So it was really nice. I only made 3 flowers, and it was probably good enough,
Yeah.
for the space. So I do
Yeah.
think it's still worth adventuring into
Mm-hmm.
for your business.
For sure.
Yeah. So exciting. Yay. So if you guys have any questions on how to do large paper flowers, the logistics, or whatever, leave a comment or DM one of us, and we can certainly help you or point you to the right artists that
Yeah.
specialize in large paper flowers that they can answer your questions.
Mhm.
But now let's talk about our favorite little part. Okay, what have you guys purchased in the last few weeks that's under $20 that has made you happy?
Should I go
I
first?
can think of
Sure.
another one.
Okay. All right. So I guess I would just go with the whole giant flower theme.
Mhm.
One of my favorite things that I decided to use and incorporate, and I feel like I was one of the first ones that decided to do this, is I use couplers to the PVC pipe. The PVC pipe would be the stem, and then the couplers are the ones that kind of cups into the PVC pipe. And the reason why I came through this was because one of the companies that I worked with, they wanted everything to be fully collapsible so that they can take it from place to place. It was supposed to be an event where they went from one city to another city, and it was like going to be a reoccurring event,
Mhm.
and they wanted the flowers to be fully collapsible. And that's like a whole nother mechanic of it of in itself, to figure out how do I make sure this is fully collapsible and put into a box every time and it still looks good. It was
Mhm.
really hard, honestly. But the thing that I came up with was couplers. They are things that connect your PVC pipe to a PVC pipe. Now,
Mhm.
how did I know this? Because this is like a plumber situation. It's not even a paper flower situation. And I mean, I think I went to Home Depot and I was just literally looking at the whole section. And
Mhm.
my husband's like, oh, this one would work with this one, and this one would work with this one. And I realized, then I started researching all sorts of different PVC pipes and couplers. There are couplers that are also a little bit longer. So if
Yeah.
you are making flowers like peonies, you would have to get couplers that are also a little bit longer than the normal standard coupler that they come with.
Yeah.
They have so many different things. You could go and research through Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you can find like home improvement things, but basically it's in the plumbing section.
Yes. To follow along with Sarah, I would say get a PVC cutting tool.
Hmm.
And I found the cheapest price was at Harbor Freight. It was only like $7 for this tool that you can easily cut PVC pipes. So that's my like tip for you guys if you're doing that.
I want to jump on the bandwagon on that. It's not a $20 thing that I bought recently, but recently enough. Um, Speaking of pipes, so the water pipe that goes out into my garden, we were kind of rough with it, and it kind of it broke like last year, and so this year we actually fixed it, and we don't have any like soldering experience, like I don't, at least. So the easiest way to do it was using the Shark Bite plumbing product. It's like I don't know if you've seen it. I think it might have appeared on like Dragon's Den or something like that, but essentially it's like you plug it in, and it inside the fitting, there is a way where it just clicks on to the copper piping without you having to solder anything.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
so for like home rent, like home, DIY people, like it's a little bit more, obviously a little bit more expensive than your regular copper pipes and fittings. But for like the regular DIY, it's so worth the cost because you don't have to spend the time to solder anything, cut everything, and I mean, you do have to cut the pipes and stuff, but at least you don't have to solder anything. And people don't usually have soldering tools or know how to. So yeah, we used a couple of fittings, but literally so easy. We were done in like a half an hour after we cut
Amazing.
like the existing faucet out and then fix the U. Anyways, we did a little fiddling. But like literally, it was like half an hour. Get every like you measure, you know, 5 times and cut once, right, to make sure you've got the copper pipes all cut. But it literally was like fit, and then that was it. Like it was so easy.
That's
So,
going to be a
anyways,
tool you're going to use on your paper flowers someday.
yeah, it's so true. But
Yes.
yeah, the shark bite. I think we had the faucet. I don't remember which one it was, but it was so easy, and now it's like it looks really professional too. So, in case any of you guys need pipe, I guess plumbing solutions.
So funny that we're on this topic.
Yeah. I know.
All right. Thank you.
Oh,
That's it. Yeah.
yeah, that was your tip. Oh my God, we're on the plumbing roll.
I know we are. Well, thank you everybody for joining us and hearing us talk about large paper flowers, because that's just another arm of paper flowers. And I love that paper flowers, you can make in all different sizes. And if you have any questions, DM us. And thank you so much for listening. If you love this episode, make sure to like and follow us.
Bye.
Bye, guys.